Giselle G. Juarez is our guest speaker tonight. I don't sound as cool as the announcer saying it, but she was a super senior at Oklahoma. If you guys watched the College World Series, you saw her pitch phenomenal for Oklahoma. They are national champions, as well as, didn't you get most outstanding player? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Most outstanding player, which is an incredible honor. But that's not why I asked her to be here. I asked her to be here because she is open about her faith, her setbacks. She's overcome an injury. She transferred. She hasn't always played for Oklahoma. But most importantly, I just think she's one of the most down-to-earth humans. And she said yes to come say hey to you guys. So with that, you guys all remember how to do whoop whoops? Can you all give G a whoop whoop? Whoop whoop! Okay, I know I gave you an intro, but you have the floor if you want to give us a quick hit of your story.
Yeah, so I started my career at ASU. I transferred in between actually at the beginning of my junior year, but I started playing at OU the spring of my junior year. I am 23 now. I just graduated, like she said, and I think the biggest part of my story is when I got to OU, is really when I started leaning on my faith, and they were really open and accepting of that, and like they kind of like encouraged me to lean on it. In 2019, I had a saying, and it is written. Like for any big pitch or in a big moment, I would always say like, it is written, like just to like bring me back to like whatever God's got planned, it's gonna happen type of thing. And then so at the end of 2019, I actually went to go play for the Puerto Rican national team to hopefully go to the Olympics, which we didn't. But I actually tore my bicep tendon. I got injured warming up, and it was like a year-long process almost of just trying to figure out what was wrong. I got told a lot that it was just tendonitis in my arm, and I was like, no, like I feel like there's something going on. Like my body wasn't allowing me to do what I love. And I struggled really hard with wanting to play and just like getting through it. But I think something, again, like leaning on my faith and like knowing he has a plan for me, like there's always something bigger. I know in the spring of 2020, right before COVID, it was March 6th, I got surgery on my bicep tendon. It was not until, oh my gosh, let me think. I think January of 2021 that I actually saw my first live batter. So it was like a whole 9-month recovery of just like taking one step forward and like 4 or 5 steps backwards, it felt like. So I struggled really hard with like just wanting to play, and then like I'd get to pitch and then it would start hurting again, and then it was like, okay, you have to dial it back and whatnot. And so throughout season I had to like remind myself, especially in like March and April when I didn't feel the same, that I hadn't been pitching for more than 4 months again, when it had been like over a year long since, one, we had played, and 2, since I had pitched. The real last healthy game I pitched was the 2019 loss against UCLA. So throughout season, I had to remind myself to like lean on my faith. Something that kind of stuck with me was battle, which I think you guys all saw. Like we held up 4s. It was like for each other, for God, for his glory. Battle for us meant boast about the Lord. Just like using our platform and like talking about him, and not being afraid to shy away from it or anything. So for me, throughout season, I didn't have the greatest year. Like you can go back and look at my stats, and I was not all that great. Especially against OSU right before postseason. I actually struggled really, really hard, and I was mad at myself. I felt like I was just not getting what I wanted. And I kept working out really hard. We played super regionals against Washington. I didn't see the field at all. I was in the bullpen every day, but I didn't see the field. It was a Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we had off. I was in the bullpen with my catcher and I was working out. And then I was like waiting for my time. But at the same time, while I was waiting for my time to come, I was cheering on my teammates and having like genuine, like encouraging words for them and knowing that like, hey, I understand you're starting. Like, I want you to know if I have to come in, like, I have your back. And I think that's something you guys can take. And like, even if you're not getting your time, continue to work out hard and like trust the process, because the process is where the fun is. The process is where you learn so much about yourself, and how much you really want it. And being a good teammate is huge, because the game knows. If you're not being a good teammate, like, the game knows. It's hard to say that, but like, it's true. But when my time came, the last thing I like, the biggest moment out of the World Series besides winning was the UCLA game. A freshman started. Me and her are really close, but I went into that game and I said, like, I have your back. And like, I said it, eye contact and everything to her. And that was the best moment, because after we won and after Grace Lyons caught that pop-up, I like looked for her. I was like, and I gave her the biggest hug I possibly could, because it felt so good to know that we had, one, beat UCLA, and two, like, I had her back that whole game. So, I mean, my story is kind of crazy and there's so much more I could go into, but like, that's the gist of like, just injury, trial and error, working hard, even when it is hard and you might not want to, and just like being a good teammate all around.
What do you guys think of that? That was a lot that we just threw at you. Raise your hand if you can resonate, or anything she said was something similar that you've dealt with, whether it's an injury or trying to be a good teammate or not getting playing time. Like, there's some big ticket items there. G needs a reminder too, because sometimes she doesn't realize, right? We're all human. So G, I get the first question because I want to make sure we get to it, is you're looking at all of our warrior girls that are either graduated or currently working through the mental skills program. We talk about visualization, we talk about self-talk, we talk about routines, we talk about failure recovery and anxiety and how to overcome that with grounding techniques. I mean, all of the amazing skills. Is there any skill that you would say is like your routine, or something that Patty Gasso has taught you guys? Like, give us the behind the scenes look of like what you have used personally, and maybe what OU has used on the mental side of the game. Because I think, we don't always see it because it's like a secret weapon for these programs.
Yeah. A big one that like absolutely changed my game was breathing. So when I do bad, I tend to speed up, like in between pitches, like I'll catch the ball, get right back on the mound. So when I inserted taking a breath in my routine, which is funny because we kind of talk about everything you guys talk about. So like for me, my routine is like from catching the ball from the catcher, it's go to the back of the circle, step on the chalk line with my left foot. Like, it's very detailed. It'll be like, take a breath. If I need an extra second, I'll look at the center fielder or like the trees above and just like try to ground myself and like seeing something and noticing it. And then I'll step back on the mound as I'm getting my sign from my coach and I see it, I'll start taking my deep breath again. And something huge for us is when we think about taking a deep breath, sometimes it's just like you just kind of like do it really quick and like barely drop your shoulders. It's like super tense still. So something we worked really hard on was like thinking about like having an elevator in your lungs. Like when you breathe in, the elevator goes down. When you breathe out, your elevator comes back up, and like really focusing on seeing like the shoulders really drop and relax. Something we actually do during practice is we'll have heart rate monitors. We do it a lot with the pitchers, and we'll have someone keeping the BP and like there's like a color range. And every pitcher for us was very different. We had one pitcher who rode like red and I rode green. And then we had some people who rode like a little bit lower. So like gray and blue and that type of thing. And that was their like safe zone. That was when they were doing really well. And so for us, when we would start getting either above that zone, we would take a deep breath or try to like take an extra second to calm ourselves. Or if we needed to get up, we would kind of like try to like hyperventilate almost, not really, but like kind of. It's something we worked really hard on. And also like at the ends of our zones, if we could like expand it just a little bit and work within that zone. So we could still be higher end of our green almost to red for me, which is like super high for me. Like adrenaline is going. And so like I had to learn how to work in that space if I couldn't calm myself down. I know most of you probably watched the World Series. So that final game, when there was 2 outs, I started throwing a lot of balls. I think I threw 4 balls in a row. And like my coach had to come out there and call time because she saw I was picking up speed, like just being super fast. And I tried to calm myself down, but sometimes it takes like an extra person to just like ground you. And that's kind of what she does for me. Sometimes it's my shortstop, sometimes it's my catcher. Usually with my catcher, it's like, hey, how you doing? Type of thing. My shortstop and I have an inside joke that she says like every time, and it makes me laugh a little. So it gets me to like, it brings me back to the moment. And that's something that is kind of special for me. Our hitters, they worked on holding their breath. It sounds really crazy when you think about it, but so like we would go in ice baths and we would like, he would play, our hitting coach would play like this voice recording of breathe in, breathe out. And like, it would take us from like thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm so cold, to like focusing on our breath in that like extreme moment. And I think they started incorporating the pitchers in that, and like it was like also like a breath hold, and I think it really started making a difference for us as a whole. Somebody who I know does it a lot is Lindsay Elam. If you were to go back and see when she goes into hit, like she's probably one of the most clutch hitters on our team in the World Series. She always got something going, and I really think it's because she was like focusing on the breath hold and not focusing on the big moment. So that's some stuff that we worked on. We also had a like sports psychologist come in. We did like visualization breathing where you breathe in like your favorite color and you exhale your not favorite color to like get the bad out. You inhale a positive word, you exhale negative word. Some mental stuff also, like talk wise. We try to rephrase a lot instead of focusing on the bad. Like we would be like, find the positive in something. That's a huge one. We also started having a bucket, like a throw it away bucket. Like we would literally get a piece of paper and like toss it. That way, like visually you like are getting rid of your problem. And I thought that was something really cool. That way, like at the end of the innings, like we could do it, the hitters could do it. It was just, we do a lot of like that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's something that not a lot of programs do, but like really change the game when you start doing it and working on it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And why would you want your competition to know? Or why would you want the TV announcers to know? And so this is kind of our way of peeling back the layers. How many of you guys are going to take some of those ideas that G talked about? And I know you guys have tried it too. The funny thing is, G, is that some of these girls are like, oh my gosh, this is cheesy, you know, and you probably thought the same thing too at the beginning, you know, when we're presented with these ideas. It feels weird at first. We have some girls that have been in the program a really long time, like Taylor, I see Ryan, JJ, you were one of the first ones, Olivia, you guys at first too were thinking, this is weird, this is crazy, and look how far you guys have come. So if you guys are new in the program, it's just like a God wink and so cool to hear G talk about this, because I didn't tell her what to say. No. She's just telling you guys. So I will be quiet. What questions do you guys have? We'll try to get as many answered as possible. You could ask her anything about the College World Series, playing in college. Brooke sent me a message and said, my mom told our team to flush it down the toilet when we do something bad. Love it.
Yes, I've also heard that one. Because we have
a lot.
Well, we have a bathroom in our like home dugout, and so like sometimes they would be like, go there and like flush it. Like literally, like actually flush the toilet. It's so funny.
It's a good one. Okay, Natalie, hit us with it, girl.
Who is someone that supported you along the way, and what was the most valuable lesson they taught you?
Ew, that's a good one. My fiance and my parents were like huge supporters. Like I went really far from home when I transferred. And just knowing, I guess like the biggest lesson or value like I took from that is like just knowing that they're going to be there for me, even when I am almost 1,000 miles away. And just like knowing that they're a phone call away for me. They encouraged me a lot to lean on my faith too. And just having that and like is so huge, especially when you're going to a new place and you don't really know anyone. It's kind of scary, but like for me, just having them and hearing them like encourage me. And my parents were there for my baptism when I got baptized at OU. It was actually at GCU, but with OU. Like just was super amazing. So just like they encouraged me the entire way, no matter what decision I decided to make.
That was an awesome question. Way to lead. Whoop, whoop for Natalie. I love it. So what are you doing after graduation?
Okay. This is on the down low. But I am actually going to play in Japan, professionally in their softball league. I haven't officially announced it yet because I'm waiting to get the visa and actually hopefully get in the country. But I'm super excited to do that and like learn from them.
So cool. And I don't know if you guys watch the Olympics or not, but softball in Japan is a huge deal. So that's going to be so fun, G.
Oh, yeah.
When you first got on the mound in college, were you a bit nervous?
Yeah. My freshman year was nerve-wracking. Also, if you were to see me my freshman year, you would see like a completely different picture. I was very nervous. I will never forget, actually, the most nervous I was against U of A when I was at ASU. So it was my first rivalry game. And I was so nervous because it was at U of A and everything. And it was probably the biggest game I ever pitched, like when I was younger. And man, I was scared. Yeah, it was very scary.
Awesome question. I like that. Either Addie or Aubrey said, what age did you start pitching?
I started when I was 13, actually.
Elizabeth says, what is your hometown? We'll do rapid fire.
Okay, Glendale, Arizona.
What is your pre-game routine? Elizabeth or Olivia asked that.
I don't really have a pregame routine. I know I put my left sock on first, and then like I don't remember which pair. Let's cleat. It's been a minute, I guess. For me, like when I'm actually like, I guess I would do like pregame warm up. Like if I'm pitching and starting, like that's really all I got. Would be like I do my spins and stuff, and then I do walkthroughs, and I'll start warming up all my pitches full speed, and then I will take a break. I'll start mixing, and then I'll take a break and like try to like stay up while like staying calm and trying not to like get too anxious. So like I try to like keep my mind going. I think about like going in the game third inning ready. Like mentally I'm already in the third inning because I don't want to go into it first inning and they're coming out swinging and I'm not even mentally on the same page as them. So that's a huge thing that I try to work on before each game.
Ooh, pitchers, write that one down. You're already in the third inning. I like that one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Ryan says, what was the hardest thing going between education and playing softball?
Time management. That is like the two key words. It was really hard. My freshman year, I remember like I struggled really hard with like my time management. Like I felt like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm not gonna lie. But I think once I got like a planner and like really started writing out everything and just trying to like still focus on softball, but like remembering like what I'm also there for was huge. And just like making time for like self-care, but also making time for like studying extra when I need to or getting extra reps in between and still like also having a social life. But you kind of got to sacrifice something. So I sacrificed my social life a little bit more and I don't regret it for anything because I ended up how I wanted academically and softball wise. So
love it. College is a grind. That is a great question. Abby said, did you do travel ball when you were younger?
Yes, I did. My junior and senior year of high school, I played for Birmingham Thunderbolts. Played out of state.
When did you know you wanted to play softball in college?
I guess later. My sophomore year of high school was when I started taking it more seriously, because I started working really hard so I could start pitching since I started so late. So that was a big one. So a little bit later.
That's awesome. Good question, JJ. Keely says, how much did you work to be able to play in college? That one kind of piggybacks.
A lot, like an insane amount. I remember my freshman year of high school, I would go out, me and my dad would go out and pitch, and after games and after practices, even club ball tournaments, like we would be on a backfield that no one was using anymore and we would be pitching. Like it was an absolute grind and it was hard, but it's so worth it. It is the most rewarding thing once you see all your hard work pay off.
Yeah, I think one thing that you would probably echo, you're not anything above anyone else. You just put in the work. And so you guys are probably looking at G starstruck, and I do the same thing even now. And I'm 30. I just turned 30 and I haven't played in a really long time, but literally that quote that we say, anything is possible, is true. I mean, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And G is an example.
I got told no a lot. Especially when I was younger, and like I said, I started late pitching, but I worked so hard to be where I'm at. Like I said, like my freshman year, I was a completely different pitcher, and especially coming back from injuries, like I've had 3 surgeries my collegiate career, and it was a grind, but it is so worth it. And I didn't just like wake up and get here. I worked very, very hard to get where I'm at.
Which is so cool because I know a lot of you on this call, I'm looking at a few high schoolers, but a lot of you guys are younger. So what does that message tell you? Okay, so we have some more, and we'll just keep going until we are low on time. Natalie says, what advice now would you give your younger self?
Honestly, enjoy the game. Don't get caught up in the results. I know that's easier said than done, but really just enjoy your teammates, and be a really good teammate and just have fun. Like that is the biggest thing. Like you might have the worst day at the plate, but if you're having fun and you're being a good teammate, you're not going to remember how you did at the plate. Yeah, you want to work hard to like have a good day, but like some days it's just going to be a bad day, and that's okay. And you have to understand that and just remember it's just a game. It is. And I wish I would have had a little bit more fun, especially in college.
Love that. What was your major?
I was a planned program, and it was athletic training strategies, but that's not really what I'm going to do anymore.
Okay. What was your schedule like in college? What was the day in life of a softball player?
Okay. So usually we had like 2 groups of weights and conditioning. So one group would go at 7, one group would go at 8. You go to class from 8:30 to 12:30 or 1:15. You're at the field early because warm-ups are at 1:45. Practice goes from 2 to 5:30. Let's be real. And then after you would get treatment or do what you need to do. And then you would go home at probably around 6 once you get changed and get ice and everything, and then study and eat dinner and basically do it all over again.
All over again. And if you're a freshman or sophomore, there's like all sorts of study halls, but you figured that out at OU, right? They leave the seniors alone. Okay, so what number were you?
45.
45. Do you have any advice on how to keep calm before a tryout or a big game?
Ooh, I would say don't worry about, again, you got to remember like results vary even at a tryout. You're human, you're young. You're not going to have a perfect day. So just remembering to enjoy and do your best and be you. Don't try to be the person to your left or to your right or who you were yesterday. You got to be who you are in the moment. And understand like you just got to give the best you can, and that's really it. Just be you.
So many good nuggets from this call. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this. These are our last two questions. The first one is, what encouraged you to play softball? And then they're asking, what was your favorite part of college softball and what was your favorite part of youth softball? So what encouraged you to play and what were your favorite memories?
Okay. What encouraged me to play was actually at a rec ball tryout. Sometimes they do this thing where like you have to try out at every position. And I kind of started playing, but this like what got me into pitching really. So this is like my softball. But I threw it and I completely missed because I didn't know what I was doing. And then the next one I hit the target and I was like ecstatic. So like that was like the best moment that I could think of. So I guess that's also my favorite memory from youth softball as well, was just that moment when I like kind of fell in love with softball and fell in love with pitching. My favorite part of college softball, winning. Just kidding. No, my favorite moment ever, and that I'll carry with me forever, is 2019. It was my first game with OU at the World Series. It was against Alabama. I just struck out the first hitter, and so they throw the ball around, and I never really look at my fielders, but I did this time, and I'm not kidding when I say like it was slow motion. Everything felt like it slowed down for a second, and I remember like the sunset being there, like I can see it again. And for me, that just kind of felt like God is like, for me, that was like God saying, this is where you're supposed to be. Like I get emotional about it a little bit, because like that is a moment like I'll never forget. Like his plan, like if I didn't go through everything I went through at ASU, like I wouldn't be where I was. So like it was just like a super surreal and like emotional moment for me in that time.
That is so cool. What an awesome, awesome question to end on. Thank you, G, for your time. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, G. We appreciate you.